welcome you, one and all. This is SatiSeva. I'd like to share with you a sentiment of metta, loving kindness. This one reads, "May all beings be at peace. May all beings be at peace." Friends, for the month of November, welcome to November 2nd. Unbelievable. We are going to be exploring the 16th mindfulness practice in this book, SatiSeva, Reimagining Recovery and Support. And the 16th mindfulness practice is the exploration of love, maitri, loving kindness, truly one of the limitless qualities that we are here to navigate and explore. I'd like to begin our reflection today doing a couple of things. The first is I'd like to bring forward 3 instruments of peace. And for those of you who aren't familiar with that language, the instruments of peace in the SatiSeva practice are the tools that I offer as a way of utilizing these spiritual explorations. So, the first one that we're going to kind of think about is the instrument of peace called Words Matter, Get a Thesaurus. And this is all about taking a single word, a word that we're very familiar with, a word that we almost gloss over because it's so familiar, and finding a couple of synonyms as a means of broadening and expanding our understanding. And really, it's a practice of looking at something indirectly. We're so used to looking at something head on. We just want to be clear about it. We just want to be straight, linear, logical, determined. And that's great. And there's another aspect of life that says, hey, soften a little bit. Maybe not so bright, maybe not so direct. Maybe come in from the back door. Maybe come in from the side door. Maybe come in from upside down, sideways. Something else to get the creative juices flowing. So today we're going to explore 3 synonyms for the word love. And the 3 words I want to bring forward are tenderness, warmth, affection. They all mean love. Tenderness, warmth, affection. The second instrument of peace that I'd like to bring forward is something called NPR. And this is in the love chapter. And NPR is not the radio station in this practice. NPR is an acronym for, I want to make sure I get the language right. N is for notice. Notice the feelings, especially as they are. Notice your reality as it is. Whatever it is you're experiencing, notice. P stands for pause. Pause before reacting. Pause before doing anything. Just create a little bit of space between the noticing and the automatic nature that we have. I'm going to judge it. I shouldn't be feeling this. I wish I wasn't feeling this. Just pause. And you can do that by breathing. Notice, pause. And then the R stands for respond with a clear mind and heart. And it all sounds so obvious, except when we're in the fires of it and we're not noticing, we're not pausing, and we're reacting. And it's at that moment that we become aware that we can practice. And so rather than judge ourselves like, oh, fuck, there I go again. I did it again. We can go, wait a minute. I'm going to notice. I'm going to pause. And I'm going to respond in a new way. That is an exceptionally loving thing to do for yourself and then by extension for others. The third instrument of peace I want to bring forward today, and this is actually going to be our meditation, is something called nature and the sky. And I don't remember where this instrument of peace is. If I had to guess, I would say it's in chapter 11, Working with Distortions. But let's just see how well I know my own book for funsies. Ha, I'm right. Nature and Sky. I better know this book. I wrote it. And I couldn't have written it without Lo, in case anyone didn't know. All right, nature and the sky. Let's go into nature and let's shelter under the delighting gaze of the sky, the cosmos. Friends, find a noble posture in the body and see if your body wants to take this time to rest. Some of you earlier in the practice today may have heard me mention that yesterday I gave myself hours and hours and hours of rest. And there were moments where I had to wrestle with some aspect of my personality that is always insisting. In fact, it's their job. This is their personality. They insist that I be doing something, that I produce something, that I can measure my value and my worth at all times. This part of my personality doesn't rest. It's like a little vampire, doesn't need any sleep. And so I have learned not to be governed by this part of my personality. I listen to it. It's there chiming in regularly, but it no longer is in the driver's seat of my life. Instead, I just acknowledge, oh yeah, there you are, part of my personality that I demands that I be productive at all times. I see you. I hear you. You're giving me the same old report card that you've given me my entire life. Thank you. We're resting now. We're resting. That's what we're doing. That's what we're producing is rest. So maybe that's you today. Or maybe you need a little movement. And I would encourage you to just acknowledge your body. Really tune in to what your body needs. Notice its nature. And in the noticing of the nature of your body, where it wants to be, how it wants to be, take a moment to notice your mood. And it could be anything that pops into your awareness. A little bit of anxiety, a little bit of overwhelm, a little bit of ease, some joy. And see if you can hone in on a particular mood. And then what I'd like you to do, I'd like you to play with me a little bit here. And I'd like to see if you can take that mood and put it out into a landscape. Right now, I'm feeling a lot of ease. And the landscape that is coming into my mind is actually my yard. And in my yard, I have some very mature, beautiful, bright yellow maple trees. The leaves are yellow right now. And it's been raining and it's been cool. And in my mind's eye, I can see the leaves just gently falling. And when a little gust of wind comes up, there's a flurry of these leaves whimsically flying around gently settling to the ground. This is a practice of going into nature, literally or figuratively, in your imagination, and see if you can see yourself. See if you can identify your mood as captured by a landscape. And then what I'd encourage you to do is see if you can broaden your scope a little bit and create a landscape around the image that has come to your attention. So I could put my tree, for example, near a seaside or in the middle of the prairie or in more of a desert landscape. And it would change that initial image, but it would broaden my perspective a little bit. And so I encourage you to play with that. For me, right now, I'm keeping my tree in my yard, but I'm walking around it. And instead, I'm looking through the branches, through the tree, and I'm noticing my prairie. And it goes on for acres and acres. Not and it ends, I have a property line and then it goes into another farmer's property and so on, but this landscape goes on for miles and it's open and it's very simple in its coloration this time of year. And if I look closely at different things, I can see in my landscape beautiful symmetrical trees. I also see dead trees and fallen down trees and kind of gnarly things like a gnarly fence that's been bent. The deer and the moose come by and they don't have any use for fences, so they trip over them or knock them down. There's a lot of non-linear elements, lots of different heights of things. The point is, see the variety that's there. Notice that all of this is coming into your awareness under the watchful, approving gaze of the cosmos. This earth that has been evolving for billions of years, a product of billions of more years of evolution in the cosmos itself. And we are here able to observe it for a blink of an eye. We are part of a great mystery and enormous majesty. It is miraculous to be here observing. All of this, all that you see, all that is sheltering you is, in my mind, the container of love. Love is infinitely spacious. It has the capacity to hold both the holiness and the horror. It can hold ease and chaos. It can hold growth and brokenness. It holds symmetry and asymmetry. It is the place where paradox, dichotomy, pairs of opposites flourish and remind us that that is what wholeness is all about. And we are, each of us, a piece of it. So when I stand into my landscape with all of the petty insecurities that I have, all of the doubts that I have, all of the real insecurities I have, all the fears and anxieties I'm possessed with, they live beside all of the things that make me enormously resourceful and resilient, innovative and wise. The despair lives beside a part of me that is effusive with light and joy. I am steeping in the vastness of love. In order for me to really get into that, to really experience it, and actually to begin to trust it, I invite the three synonyms I brought forward. There are many more, but today we're just going to be exploring three. I have the capacity to be enormously tender. And when I'm tender with myself and when I'm tender with others, I am instantly reinforced by something that can only be described as love. Likewise, it evokes a natural desire for me to express warmth and nurturance, caring and sharing. Those things bring me the warm feels. What brings you the warm feels? Bring it, experience it, notice, pause, respond to it. Know that you are steeping in actions of limitless love. What are some of the affectionate things you do? What are some of the challenges you face with your affection? I can tell you one of mine that's very alive for me right now. I just finished the book Nobody's Girl by Virginia Jeffrey. I think I'm saying her name right. Forgive me, Virginia, if I've said your last name wrong. Oh, this is a very painful book and worth it. And I feel no affection toward sexual predators, toward the wealthy, powerful men who have abused this woman, many women and girls, and continue to do so and have done so for centuries. So it's hard for me to feel any regard, any affection. In fact, if I'm being perfectly honest, I don't. In fact, it stirs up hostility and aggression and violence instead. And guess what, friends? In the spaciousness of love, love holds that too for me on my behalf. And when I notice these feelings and when I pause on these feelings, I'm not proud of them. They feel terrible. I have really violent thoughts about some of these people. that I don't even know, but they've done terrible things. And I want to see justice and I want to see punishment. And I don't even know what I mean by that, but I feel it and I'm angry and I'm sad. And while I may not be responding with love outward toward these people, that's okay. I'm reminded that I can love myself by accepting that these feelings are arising in me. Violence, aggression, hostility has many faces. And if I'm not careful, I could react on these emotions and do terrible things, just like these people that I feel so negatively toward. The action would be different, but the violence, that thread, that theme is the same. Anger. So I want to look deeply and I want to accept in myself that this is arising from me. And because I'm practiced, I don't have to react to it. I can look at this, I can notice and say, wow, would you look at this? You don't get to drive my life. You get to be here, but I'm putting you in a car seat in the back, tucked in, because I'm driving my life. And that, my friends, sheltered under infinite space, is a loving thing to do for myself. It's a tender thing to be able to say, wow, I'm ashamed of the feelings I have regarding the violent thoughts that came across my mind stream. It was a bit shocking, actually, and I'm ashamed of that. And there it is. But I'm not going to let it turn me cold. And I'm not going to let that harden my heart. Instead, I'm going to tap into the limitlessness for myself, because clearly there's something within me that needs affection and attention, and I can do that for myself. And I remind myself that I'm a little bit like in this moment when I'm feeling what I'm feeling, I'm a little bit like the gnarly fencing, the fence post that's kind of broken and leaning over and not fully upright. And rather than invest a whole lot of energy in making it perfect, I just simply accept, well, that's the way the fence is. Or I look at a tree with a funky shaped branch. I'm not going to lop off the branch in this insistence and striving energy that everything has to be perfect, everything has to be symmetrical or linear. I'm simply going to go, oh, look at that. There's that branch, a little bit crooked, a little unique, dying on the tip, maybe. I don't know. I'll see it as it is. I'll accept it. Maybe it'll grow on me. Maybe I'll learn to love that thing just as it is. Maybe I'll learn to love. Maybe I'll learn to accept. Maybe I'll learn to have some tenderness toward the thing that stirs me up. maybe. And in the meantime, I can keep turning it around back toward myself, taking good care of myself, getting to know the whole of me. The last thing I want to share before we go into a little bit of silence is this. When you go back, return your mind's eye to your initial landscape, just something that popped up into your mind's eye. You went out into nature, maybe you saw a tree or a stone or a stream. Go back to that and notice the delight that you feel, the joy in imagining this natural habitat. And can you, for just a moment, entertain that this being, this living being, this part of life, even if it's a stone that doesn't breathe, it has so many elements that are so, so ancient. Can you imagine a consciousness there? A consciousness that has its own way of gazing and experiencing. So the delight that you bring to it delights in you. That is also the vastness of love, the tender expression of love, the warmth that love possesses, and its infinite expressions of affection. Nature can be tapped into in this regard and mirror for us what we may have forgotten. All of this is happening under an infinite sky, a divine gaze, the container that is love. And let's take a step toward our dedication of merit. Oh, one of the things that we are reimagining, again, SatiSeva means mindful service. And when we can really be self serving in the best of ways, in the ways that are fulfilling and wholesome, we are by extension um, real servants to life and to one another. We can provide service that is selfless. So it is an interesting dichotomy where we have to serve ourselves in order to understand what it means to be selfless. That is the mutuality that we experience, as opposed to the transactional nature that many of us have experienced that love is. I do something for you, you do something for me. That's a transactional relationship. And not all transactional relationships are bad. And again, this is also held in the container of love. But if we really want to tap into love's unconditionality, we want to be able to understand ourselves well enough that we can empty and really be present for others, to be selfless for others. And we cannot do that if we do not offer ourselves the time and the practice to really get into those abandoned, neglected places within and shine our bright light there. And that's what we do in this practice. That's what we endeavor to do anyway. I heard today by Sangha members these moments of struggle to accept love. And yet when it comes, it's a little unnerving. There's something in our modern conditioning that has us believing things need to be really hard. We need to be, it need to be a lot of effort. We almost need to be exhausted on the other end of our efforts. We're working really hard at this. And so it's weird to be in a situation where there's no effort. You're just standing there receiving, and all of a sudden you get this download or this warmth that comes over you, and it's so easy that we're skeptical of it. We're resistant to it. We want to push it away like, ugh, what is that? And so I have an image for you that I'd like to share with you because it really does help. It's a way of bringing lightness and joy. So as life is, it's hard work. And life is also great ease. It's the bothness of it. And you can trust both. And what we're unlearning is this idea that it's either one or the other. Either it's hard work all the time or it's easy breezy street. And the nature of reality is no, darling, it's both. And so when you have that ease, that profound simplicity, you can trust it. You can pause in it for a moment and imagine standing there with your head slightly lifted and imagine life just raining down the tiniest little kisses all over your cheeks. Just, oh my goodness, I just love you. You're amazing. Yes, that's what it is. And you didn't do anything, no need for greatness at all. Just you, exactly as you are. When you feel that warmth, that bubbling up, that arising, yes, life, so much love for you, so many sweet kisses. Take a moment and shelter under the beautiful sky and feel the unconditionality, the unwavering presence that is the limitlessness of love and its capacity to hold it all. The worst of you and the best of you in the eyes of love is yes, that's all of you. And I love that. The worst of you and the best of you together make the whole of you. And that is love, truly. One more time. The worst of you and the best of you together is the whole of you. And love, friends, loves to love. Love loves to love. We dedicate this practice to living beings everywhere who've never known love's kiss, who don't know tenderness, who live without warmth and affection. May we come together with great consciousness and intention, energetically sending this practice out to them. May it find them, may it mind them, and may they feel something new, some small, safe opening. May they turn their gaze toward the sky, and even if they're not aware yet, they are so well loved. Let's dedicate this practice to the people in our lives who challenge us, who stir up all of our stuff, the stuff that we'd rather not acknowledge, the stuff we'd prefer to pretend doesn't exist, the stuff that we judge to be so awful in others while conveniently ignoring how those same qualities live in us, manifested differently, but the qualities are nevertheless human and therefore within me. They are wise teachers, and they are worthy of love in their own right. And so they become a challenge, and they show and reveal, for me anyway, where I need to continue to do my work. Let's dedicate this practice for all of the people in our lives who are relating to us transactionally and who stir up that transactional connection within ourselves. This is just a part of being human as well. And let's see if we can bring some tenderness to that, some affection to that. And maybe what we can learn to do is create boundaries, healthy, beautiful balaklohes. And in the process of building a healthy, beautiful boundary, maybe we're able to create an altar of understanding with someone that says, hey, you know, I'd like to be a little less transactional. You do for me, I do for you. I don't want to keep score anymore. So I'm going to put on the altar my scorecard. I don't want to use it anymore. Play with it. Let's dedicate this practice energetically to landscapes, to the earth itself, this living, breathing organism from which we've all been birthed, into which we shall return. May our steps be like kisses to this good earth who nurtures us, who takes our abuse and neglect, who is ever present regardless of the ways we ignore her, the way we forget that life has a face. It has many, many faces, many kinds of consciousness, and we've forgotten. And yet, living beings all around us are constantly vying for our attention. And when we pay attention to them, it's almost as if you're watching carefully, you'll see the shimmer of recognition. Life delights in being delighted in. Finally, let's dedicate this practice to ourselves, for our effort of showing up, for our wisdom and our desire to deepen our understanding, to create intentions for a livelihood that is aligned with our values, to bring forward actions and efforts that are also cultivating the qualities that we really want to bring forward into this life. We can do that through our practice of speech. We can do that through our efforts of mindfulness. We can do that with the 18 million levels of concentration taught in the Buddhist traditions, for all of the wisdom that you have shared here today, the inspiration that you leave as a glorious impression, a beautiful kiss in this space. I thank you for that. And I bless this space and I dedicate this merit for our goodness. May it radiate out into the world, so desperate to have it. We meet again on Wednesday, friends, 11 a.m., and we'll continue this exploration of this beautiful topic of love.